Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Pokemon Soul Silver. When I last left you guys, we were about to head into Union Cave, but then I noticed there's this guy right here waiting for us. This guy looks like a bird keeper, based on his hair. Yep, he seems to idolize Faulkner, so guess what? Bird keeper! Most bird keepers, I imagine, would idolize Faulkner, because he's actually a pretty cool guy. At any rate, we have our Ekans, who actually knows a decent move now. Might be able to actually lay some hurt down on this guy. Oh yeah, look at that. And he flinched. So this is defensive as well as offensive. This Bite. Bite's actually an incredible move. Anything from Gen 2 and beyond. Level 11 for Ekans, alright. Ooh, 2 attack that time. I will take it. Should be able to mow straight through this guy's little Pidgey army here. At least that's the goal. I don't know what the flinch rate on Bite is. I think it's like 20%, maybe 30%. It's actually a fairly decent number, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, look, that would have been nice. Crit Bite on the first turn would have been fantastic, but you know what? Whatever. Oh, Spearow, mixing it up a little bit. These battles are going much quicker now that I have a decent move to use. Oh no, he growled me. Whatever will I do? Bite him! Yeah, having a decent attacking move makes all the difference. You're not just sitting there battling a war of attrition with something that's just as pathetically weak as you are. Poison Sting should get through, I think. Well, maybe not after a second Growl. That's fine. Maybe I'll poison him. That'd be hilarious. Nope, never mind. This one will get through, though, and finish him off. You can see we're speed tied because sometimes I would go first, sometimes he would go first. That's what happens when you have a speed tie, which is kind of rock, paper, scissors there. I know what my weaknesses are. Yeah? Electric? Rock? Ice? Mostly those? Here's a rock, smashable rock with something hiding behind it. What delicious goodies do you have for us? A shell bell. Well, what in the heck is a shell bell, you may be asking? Why don't we take a look at it? Just so you... Whoops, I don't need an antidote. Restores a little damage every time it inflicts damage. You know what? That might not be a bad idea to give to Ekans. Have him hold the shell bell. For some reason I thought it was the other thing that increases your happiness. But anyway, moving on. This here is Union Cave. You see the Onyx hiding in the background there? No? Alright. Go ahead and pause the video and look back if you didn't see it. It's kind of like its head poking out. Or it's like a little thing on top of its head. And as is usual for most caves in the Pokemon franchise, it is flush with Zubats. Because Zubats be everywhere. Let's go ahead and Bitify this thing. Nice. And because I inflicted damage, I heal some from that shell. I heal 1 from that shell bell. You know what? It's better than nothing. I will take what I can get. It might just keep him topped off. Especially now that I'm out of potions. I have 1 super potion remaining. I think as long as you do any damage, you get at least 1 back from Shell Bell. Let's see if that's true or not. Oh yeah, for sure. Alright. So yeah, that'll be a nice way to keep Ekans topped off, just by killing random things. I keep saying killing. You're not actually killing anything in this game. You're just fainting Pokemon. An X attack, you say? Well, that's largely useless. That's just like using a one-time attack, like a one-stage attack boost. Actually, I think they made X items like a double-stage increase for a stat when you use one. That would make them worthwhile. Just a one-stage is kind of pointless. Now let's go ahead and Poisonify this guy. Or Poison Sting him at any rate. Okay, he's getting hit for a lot more than he's able to keep healing for, so... I mean, it is what it is. Hey, I poisoned him! Fantastic. Get back a hit point. It is like a percentage-based increase, or rather an HP you gain when you inflict damage on something. However, the ratio is very low. So, unfortunately, until you start doing a lot more damage, you're not going to be healing very much as a result. But as I mentioned, I do believe there is at least a minimum of 1. So... when the ratio is really bad and you're only doing like 10 damage, 1 is still a pretty decent number. So I guess that has that going for it. That little animation might start getting tiring after a while, but you know what? I'm going to stick with it. And who's up here? Rocks. And this guy appears to be a fire breather. Well, that's a fairly decent philosophy. Yep, fire breather. I don't know why he feels the need to have his shirt open, but... Aw, Vulpix! I want one of those. I love Vulpix. Vulpix and Ninetales are incredible. In fact, I do believe I might try to grab one of them this game. I've never actually had the opportunity to train a Vulpix or a Ninetales because, as previously mentioned, I usually go with Growlithe Arcanine instead. And also, Vulpix... Really? You're gonna roar? Really? Whatever. Vulpix is normally a version exclusive. So is Growlithe. So generally speaking, what I'll do is pick up the version of the game that has Growlithe in it. So I have not had very much occasion to attempt to train a Vulpix because normally there isn't even one in the game that I'm playing. So this will be a nice change of pace. And as I mentioned, I do like Ninetales a lot, so that'll be cool. I don't think we're going to have access to one for a little bit yet. I think not until we get to Goldenrod City. Ekans wants to learn Glare. Ooh, that'll be cool. We get a paralysis move. In fact, I might need to keep Ekans around for that very purpose. This is tough, because Wrap actually prevents people from running away. And that could come in handy. No, not really. The only thing that you have to worry about running away is like Abra, and it just uses Teleport to get away. So we'll get rid of Wrap. 15 power. It wasn't even 20. Jeez, that's why it was so pathetic. Alright, so Glare, by the way. I mentioned previously that I thought it was a signature move of Ekans and Arbok. That is not true. Actually, Dunsparce can learn Glare too. So I think during Gen 1 it was exclusive to those two, but it is no longer exclusive. More items. What's over here? There's water down here too, as you can see. Sadly, we do not have Surf yet, so we cannot traverse said water. So Ekans is starting to catch up level-wise. That's good. He's actually maintaining himself a decent part of the team right now. Let's go ahead and get Chikorita out here. I'm probably over-leveling my guys a little tiny bit for this stage in the game. Well, that being said, the next gym is going to be considerably tougher than what Faulkner was for a couple of reasons. One big reason in particular, but we'll get there when we get there. Those of you who've played through a Gen 2 game before know exactly what I'm talking about. And we'll go ahead and dispatch with that silly Geodude. I could just leave Chikorita in the front of the party, honestly, and give it more experience. Next defend, huh? That's largely pointless. And there's nothing. I don't think there's anything but Geodudes down here at the moment. That may not necessarily actually be true, but you know what? These guys aren't really giving me a lot of experience. We're just gonna run away from them. So there's something else over here, I believe. Yep. What's that? Ooh, TM39 Rock Tomb. That will come in handy. So Rock Tomb's pretty nice. Not only is it a look, a hidden thing on the rock here. Normally when you see free-floating rocks like this, that means there's something hidden on them, so just talk to them. There's quite a few hidden things in Union Cave here. And even though those X speed, X attack, X defend, those items are kind of pointless, I just sell them for extra spending cash. There's no real reason to use them unless you're in a really big pinch, but then again, usually if you're in that big of a pinch where you need to use one of those, it won't make that big of a difference. So I don't bother with them. We're going to go ahead and try out some fishing. In fact, I'm going to register my old rod so that I can use it whenever I desire to without having to go into the item bag to use it. Now, again, I'm fairly certain the only thing you're going to catch with an old rod is Magikarp. There's like a 10% chance of something other than Magikarp. Speaking of, it's a Magikarp. Who saw that coming? Raise your hands. Everybody? Yeah, I thought so. Needless to say, I don't have a Magikarp yet, so I might as well go for it. Let's go ahead and Glare him. Glare, that, however, is not a 100% accuracy paralyze move, as you can see. But the fact that I have access to a form of paralysis now is going to be incredibly valuable for capturing wild Pokemon. Paralysis is the next best thing to sleep. Actually, freezing is, but because it's nearly impossible to actually consistently freeze things, paralysis is your next best bet because it does not wear off. And it also has the added benefit of dropping your opponent's speed, which is very valuable for particularly fast, like even legendary Pokemon. And it also prevents them occasionally from using a move at all, which is also very powerful. So yeah, sleep, best thing to use for capturing wild Pokemon, but paralysis is definitely second best in my opinion. So let's go ahead and capture us a Magikarp. Sadly, I've used Gyarados a lot too. Gyarados actually is incredibly valuable for the 4th gym in this game because of its ability to learn Bite and also its sky-high special defense. But sadly, no access to Gyarados this game because I've already used one. I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with Gyarados. I acknowledge that Gyarados is a good Pokemon, and it's very useful in certain circumstances, but I've never really been, like, terribly attached to Gyarados. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but I've never been one of those guys that's like a big Gyarados fanboy. Nothing but hikers and fire breathers in this cave, I don't believe, and they all have... Well, I guess that one guy had a Vulpix. This guy's got an Onix, I believe. Yep. Which is our first Onix we're seeing, actually. There is Onix in this cave. I think there's like a 5% chance to run into an Onix. Something like that. Why don't we go ahead and glare this thing? Now, here's the nice thing, too. Normally, one of the more reliable methods of paralysis is Thunder Wave, which you typically would have on Mareep at this point. But because Thunder Wave is an electric-type move, it doesn't work on rock, or it doesn't work on ground types. Glare does not have that problem. So, we can paralyze this Onix and proceed to lay into it. However, I don't really have anything that's going to get through his ridiculously solid defense, so we're just going to bring out Chikorita and defeat it that way. Probably didn't need to waste turn paralyzing it. I could have just brought out Chikorita immediately. He's going to continue to harden. That's fine. I'll just Razor Leaf it. What? He avoided it? This is why when I say anything less than 100% accuracy is awful. You want consistency. You especially want consistency when you're battling. So that's why when you look at competitive battling, you see people who build movesets along the likes of Ice Beam and Thunderbolt and Flamethrower because they are very powerful but also very consistent moves. Rather than using things like Fire Blast and Blizzard and Thunder, even though those moves are stronger, they do not have perfect accuracy. And when you're in a competitive battling situation, you need consistency over everything else. You can't afford to take a turn off and miss. What? Okay. Apparently I don't have a sprite anymore. Well, we'll see if I can get that fixed after another quick battle here. That's one of the more odd bugs I've seen with this emulator. Hopefully it's a short-lived one. I don't want to have to deal with that the rest of this game or something. That would be exceedingly annoying. Level 6 Geodude, not really worth my time. Okay, now I don't have a screen at all. That's cool. So, something's all a little buggy with my emulator here, methinks. Let's see if I can get this fixed real quick. I don't know what causes those kind of bugs to happen. Alright, give me back my character control. Nope. Alright, well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gents. I'm going to go ahead and save real quick. I know it sounds like an idiotic move when my screen's black, but I'm going to make an effort to fix this. Yeah, I can't really see what I'm doing here, so why don't I go into this menu? Nope. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and reset and see if I can't fix this real quick, so bear with me a second while I pause and get this squared away. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. I just went ahead and reset my emulator, and that seems to have fixed it. Again, not entirely certain what that whole situation was about there. It was fairly annoying, but... Alright, moving on. Here's another hiker guy. Hopefully that does not become a consistent problem. I don't want to have to keep resetting periodically just to fix little bugs like that. Otherwise, this is going to be an annoying time. Hiker Russell, huh? With your level 4 Geodude. I am so intimidated. Actually, he is. See what I did there? Never mind. Anyway. I'm not going to waste my time with Ekans. We're just going to bust up Chikorita right away. Probably steamroll through whatever this guy has. Yes, throw mud at the plant that thrives off dirt, I guess. I don't know. Chikorita's not necessarily a plant. It's like a plant-based little monster thing with a leaf for a head. But, I mean, listen, I don't know. Geodude, as we all know, very, very allergic to leaves. It seems kind of odd, but I understand why that weakness is in place. Level 6 Geodude, stepping it up, aren't you? I'll be having none of that. Yeah, I talked a little bit about competitive battling a minute ago before that stupid glitch happened, but that's another reason why competitive battling is so, in my opinion, restrictive, because there's very little in the way of flexibility in some cases. Some really neat, gimmicky movesets that you might want to try out for your Pokemon just aren't going to cut it in certain situations. Every Pokemon on your team needs to have a role to play, pretty much, like a reason for being there. Or is added to your team specifically to counter and defeat something else that your opponent might have. Obviously, you don't know what you're going to be going up against ahead of time, but in certain situations, like in the metagame of Pokemon battling, there is certain expectations to be made for what you can expect to see on an enemy's team. So, I think the way that they did it with Smogon's like the unofficial but also official competitive Pokemon battling situation. They kind of set the rules, and they have been since ever. Like, Smogon's existed for all time, pretty much. Hey, great ball. And there's different tiers that Smogon sorts different Pokemon battles into, based on how strong the Pokemon is and how much better it is than other ones. So, for example, the highest tier is Ubers. And Ubers is reserved for things like absurdly powerful legendaries. You know, like Groudon and Kyogre and Rayquaza and all that, and Mewtwo, that kind of deal. Just the best of the best stuff that non-legendaries really can't compete with. So anything that is too strong to, anything that just otherwise ridiculously murders all of its competition gets quote-unquote banned to the Uber tier. And in the Uber tier is where all the people that are too strong hang out, because when you're all too strong, none of you are. That's the whole point. So anything that's, really, really good, but not quite uber strong, goes to the next highest tier, which I think is OU, or overused. So things like Tyranitar and Salamence and Dragonite, the pseudo-legendaries would hang out in there. The ones that are absurdly strong, but are not uber powerful, necessarily, would all go in that tier. And then you've got, I think, underused, which is the next lowest one, which is, they're not quite that great, but they're still good. And then below that is never used, which is like, they're meh. They don't really have a niche. They're not really good at anything. They just kind of suck. And then I think there's the lowest possible tier is like PU, or like can't be used. I don't know what PU actually stands for, but again, I know something about the competitive Pokemon scene in terms of the theory crafting, but I don't know much about actually battling. I'm not very good at it. I'm not good at building teams for it. And some of the move sets people put together for some of those battle tiers they're utterly ridiculous. Like, holy crap, I never would have thought of any of this stuff. Some really neat gimmicks to be found in a lot of Pokemon battling. I think one of the neater gimmicks, in my opinion, is something called Trick Room, which is a move that you can learn. I think Psychic types tend to get it when any of them do, but like slower ones do. What it does is it reverses the speed formula, so the slower Pokemon goes first. So that's great if you've got something like Snorlax or Slowbro or that kind of a deal. Oh, they're Great Ball. Fantastic. I'll take those. Sadly, a couple of them doesn't really make that big of a difference. If something is got a low enough catch rate to require a Great Ball, you're probably going to need more than one. Another potion? Sweet. I'll take that. A little snaking around here. And who is this gentleman? I don't know. But he doesn't have eyes? Question mark? That's creepy. Well, let's see what he's got. Oh, it's a super nerd, I think. He's wearing glasses. That's what it is. Either a super nerd or a Pokemaniac. He is a Pokemaniac. He's not wearing glasses, he's wearing a lizard suit? Strangely, that suit was not on his character sprite a minute ago. But, I mean, whatever. Now, normally I'd be scared of Slowpoke because it's Psychic type, but I have Bite, which is good against it. Now, I don't think... If he uses Confusion, I don't think it'll kill me. I'd be surprised if it did. He's not even using Confusion, he's using Water Gun. Slowpoke Slowbro, one of those things that I think I might need to try. I've never done it before, but they're... From what I understand, they're actually quite good. And Water Psychic's a very good typing, as I know from one of my favorite Pokemon, Starmie. I love me some Starmie. So maybe I'll give Slowpoke a try this playthrough, we'll see. I know where to catch one, so... At any rate, we took out Mr. I don't have eyes anymore dude here. But we're going to progress through the remainder of Union Cave in the next episode. So until that time, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully we won't run into any more of those random graphical glitches that requires me to reset my emulator. But we'll get to that when we come to it, I guess. So anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Until then, this has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.